Evening all, welcome to Tactics and Dust, and we said we'd talk about bounties. We're going to talk about bounties, and we're going to have a bit of a discussion over what's happening at the moment in Dust. There's an awful lot going on. Well, yeah, I mean, obviously the last video that I did was actually the one, A Tale of Firings in Iceland. I am really proud of that fucking title, by the way. That took some real hard drinking to get. It's of course a play on Tale of Ice and Fire, or Fire and Ice, whatever it is. Anyway, never mind. Yeah, Saberwing going is a big shame, massive shame, and I think, yeah, I mean, lots of rage and unhappiness about this, but these things happen, and I think, you know, the things are being, you know, kind of talked about, and, you know, just generally people are not very happy. Some stuff, and others are obviously, you know, using it as a bit of a vehicle to obviously bandwagon CPM1 nominations, etc. And it's pretty disappointing to see that. But at the end of the day, a guy lost his job, and that's not nice. That really is not nice. So, you know, best wishes to Saberwing. He will be forever in our hearts and forever a bro of this channel and a bro of this game. And I'm sure everybody would, you know, agree that he did some real good for the game. He really, you know, brought a great attitude to the game, and so on. Now, he did ask me personally not to do an epitaph, so, or an obituary even. But so we're not going to do that because, again, he's not gone anywhere. He just no longer works for CCP. I did have a kind of fleeting trolly moment where I thought, "Ooh, dude, run for CPM1, why not?" But obviously that would be silly. Post in the comments if you think that would actually not be too bad an idea. Anyway, well, I won't go about it. So let's talk about Dust. I mean, losing the community manager is a bad thing, but obviously they're going to have to replace it with something else. I believe they're going to draw together a kind of more, I guess, coherent community group, which is good news. These are all good things. These are all positive moves forward, and yeah, it just sucks that you know, they have to do it this particular way. I think, you know, at the end of the day, let's be honest, Dust is a sunsetting product. It has reached its zenith. It's not really going to go any further now, and that while they will certainly do, and again, let's be clear on the client-side fixes versus server-side fixes. You know, client-side, I get the two wrong, but I think client-side you can do, server-side you probably can't. And this is because Sony very likely are telling them to piss off if they want to change anything to this product. I can't imagine Sony are terribly pleased, or rather, you know, terribly engaging with CCP, because at the end of the day, they're losing a product for their PS3 store. So, you know, I can understand they're probably like, go suck a dick, bro. So all they can do continuing forward is client side, and that's obviously what they can tweak currently. But again, let's be clear, you know, with Legion being the focal point of the future of this IP, Dust is just in a transitory period and ramp down. And I think that's worthy of discussion. I think, you know, we'll do another video maybe next time about what really that means. But I think for now, in essence, this game is going to kind of shut down eventually. And I think, you know, that time, I don't know. It could be a year from now. It could be 6 months from now. It could be next month. Who knows? But I think at the end of the day, it's going to happen. And I think right now, the reality is that if they can only do certain things like small bug fixes and small tweaks to, you know, guns and speeds of guns and stuff like that, then really what they're saying is no further development, proper development, is actually going to happen on this game at all. It is done. So, you know, the next properly developed game from CCP, fully developed, will actually be Legion, using this IP. And Legion, I guess, is still some time away. It's still, you know, it's I don't think we're going to see a closed beta quite yet. I don't know. I really don't know. But I think it's going to be, well, it's certainly not tomorrow. I think that's probably worth discussion, because, to be honest, with very little kind of on the future for Dust, let's face it, it's a ramp down. I think if people are kind of saying that nothing's you know, changing, the game is still the same, there's still the same number of players logging in, I think they're probably showing that maybe they don't actually play the games. When I log into this game, I never sit in the captain's quarters, ever. I'm always playing a game. I think, you know, I probably spent in the last year, I've probably spent only a few hours in total in the captain's quarters. Whereas some people, like, who are from the Eve mindset, log into this game, then sit in it because they feel like they're living their life in the captain's quarters or the merc quarters. And I think that's a subtle difference. So yes, there's loads of people still logging on and, you know, and spamming forums and doing all that, but there's very few people playing this game. And this is evidenced by the fact that, I mean, again, I did a again, I know so many people are data nerds out there, but I did a little empirical study of my own, which involved a pen, a paper, and writing down names. And I did this for a whole evening, and I played basically 30-something, it was about 34% of the players I played were the same in every match. And we even dropped out of gangs to join others, and and sometimes the queue would take 5-6 minutes to join, and that was obviously because another match was ending, blah 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 blah. And to be honest, I just, you know, I could just see that there wasn't a huge number of people playing. I would love to see more stats on this. I'm only giving you my feeling, my impression, but I think quite honestly, there's lots of people sat in merc quarters. There's not too many people actually playing the game, and that's kind of sad. I think, what else can we do? You know, I think really a lot of people are just collecting their daily skill point award. I think a lot of people are just continuing to kind of engage in the drama of the forums because some people seem to like that. But again, I'd probably say there's only really maybe a couple of hundred people really even reading the forums. I don't even read the forums because they're just very boring. They do not interest me in the slightest. Okay, quick shout out here. This is you'll see it in a minute. Tell me when you spot it. There's something gone wrong here. If you can spot it, can you see it? Have you spotted it yet? There, that's a clue. And there we go. Oh, look at that, poor chaps. I even got tweeted this, and I'm so sorry. I've forgotten your name. Who tweeted me? But you basically tweeted me saying, "Lol, got stuck in a stupid spawn as I completely killed you with a plasma cannon." So I do apologise for that. So anyway, I mean, you know, it's very difficult to kind of continue on with what I'm doing with this game at times, and I think, you know, sometimes it takes a lot more people to actually play a game rather than just log in to actually make this game work more than it is currently, because I would say currently it's getting close to being unplayable. It's the same small group of people we're meeting most times. It's the same names, even more so than ever before. Even when we had, like, you know, what, 8,000 people on at that glorious golden time. You were still coming across the same people, and we're coming across the same kind of group. So anyway, in essence, and in summary, you know, I think, to be honest, the game is feeling troubled at the moment. So there we go. That was my very untrolly opinion of how the game's going. I think you should still play it. It's still a fun game at heart. Admittedly, last night I gave up completely because it was just terrible. I don't know what the hell was going on, but just literally for about 5, maybe 6 matches in a row, it was just, again, the same dudes using the same proto strafing rail rifles, you know, scout cloaking, carrying bollocks. And yeah, it was very stark that, quite frankly, there is something not quite right in this game, and I think that kind of made me sad. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, lots of talk, I guess, at the moment about obviously the whole CPM1 piece. I think obviously that's still coming together. I said in my last video that I still see it as a worthy endeavor, and I'm not retreating from that. I think if you want to go for it, then good on you, go for it. You know, don't let anybody tell you what to do. I think that's an absolutely critical thing with the whole CPM piece is, you know, if you want to be a CPM candidate, if you want to run for CPM, then, you know, you need to be a strong-minded individual. You must not be contritious and collusious, if that's a word. And I think you'll do well. And I think, quite frankly, there's a lot of good, good candidates forming already, and I think it's going to be interesting. We are going to do our next video, which unfortunately may look like I'm actually trolling the CPM process, because for those of you who are good at spotting trolls, it will be. Because we're going to look at actually what will this CPM1 do. The reality is that with dust, quote, sun setting, the scope of service to me is absolutely lost on me. I actually could not tell you what the CPM1 will do, because they are really just there for dust. Again, that has been stated multiple times. You know, I know a lot of them are thinking, well, if I get in here, I'll get in for Legion. Probably not. I mean, it depends if CCP are terrible. Oh, hang on, they are. Yes, they probably will make you part of the Legion process as well. Oh, that'll be fun, won't it? So I guess really what people are saying is they couldn't give much of a shit about Dust, and they're actually just gonna, do it to get on the Legion, maybe closed beta. Who knows? I don't know, but it does feel a little bit like certain players are maybe going for it for that privilege alone. If that does happen, then obviously that'll have a light shined upon it, and that'll be CCP called out once again for talking complete horse shit about their process, and it would just be glorious to really highlight once more certain very poor management if that happens. So I'm quite keen to ensure that doesn't. CPM1 is there for Dust, and it's there to ensure that Dust closes successfully. It's not there for Legion. The skill sets required for Legion are going to be totally different for a product that's being created, a product that's beginning, to a product that's closing. And I think, quite frankly, if that is not understood and recognized, then once again I think we're just going to see riots and flames and all that good stuff. I think people are tiring of the drama. I think people are tiring of the bullshit now. I think, to be honest, people want to play a game. They want to, make it more about the... And Eddie Rio put it really nicely. He said it's not about... Dust is not at the moment about the game playing. It's about the mind games. And I do totally agree with that. I think that is, in every way, very true and very sad. That pretty much the only thing people are actually fighting for is to be on the top deck of a sinking ship as it goes down. With the vague hope that the Legion life raft will be, sent to them and they can grab onto it. It does feel like that. It feels very opportunist as well. But there we go. I mean, it's a tricky time. It's a very difficult time to be doing videos for this game. After the hundreds of them I've done and the hundreds of them that, people have watched, I'm sat here trying to enjoy the game, and the reality is I'm not. And that's sad, and that really is quite sad. This has driven a whole new kind of drive when we log on to this game, which we'll talk about in the next video. I think we need a name for it. We should call it kind of Project Don't Give a Fuck. And that actually is working out quite well for us, hence the plasma cannon. Anyway, there you go. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll talk a bit more about CPM1 next time. And do you know what? I just realised I didn't talk about bounties. Next time.